Hi, this is Owen Thornton, and this is my vblog, which goes with my webblog at Ontario Crafts, all one word, .wordpress.com. Today I want to talk to you about a brand new winery called Cloudsley Cellars. It was recommended to us by our host at our B&B when we were staying down in Grimsby. And Cloudsley Cellars is at 3795 Victoria Ave, Vineland, Ontario. It's just not all that far from Featherstone if you've been to Featherstone down that way. This winery is producing true Burgundy-style wines in that they are producing Chardonnays and Pinot Noirs, and they are producing them on a field-by-field level. In other words, they're not taking grapes from vines from all over their properties and or their property and blending it all together and bringing it together and making one wine. They're making wines from each area where they're growing because they're on the 20-mile bench and they are on hills and down into the lowlands and on the top of the hill. So each place has different terroir for the same kinds of grapes. So this is a bit of an experiment as far as your ability to taste Pinot Noir and Chardonnay, the two principal grapes that they're growing there. Because one would come from one field, one Pinot Noir would come from one field, another Pinot Noir would come from another field. You get a chance to try and see what it's like to taste Pinot Noir from the same grower with the same production techniques as from one Pinot Noir to the other, to see just how much difference terroir will make in very short distances apart. So that's one of the things that will be really exciting with Cloudsley Cellars. Now, I'm going to show you a picture of Cloudsley Cellars over here. The property is brand new, but the vines have been planted for a while, so they are actually producing the grapes from their own property. And the building itself is essentially a steel building with a couple of big doors. One of them, as you'll see in the photograph, has the big logo of Cloudsley Cellars on it, and the one I didn't take, which didn't look like much, was the open door, and essentially it's open into their production facilities where their vats are. And there was a, if you've ever been to a church and you've had those wood stacking tables with the little round legs that come off of them and you can stack them one on top of the other, that was the tasting table. So it's very new. There was nothing behind it, so that you could see the whole operation there. And on the photograph you'll see that I put up here, you'll see that there is a open roof. There's a roof over open area, and there are vats out there as well outside. So you can see that it's a very new production area. But I'm telling you right now, they're making great wines. Now, we tried their Pinot Noir. I'll put a picture of the bottle up there that we tried. And this bottle was a $35 bottle. It was one of the lesser expensive ones from Cloudsley Cellars. And this was a fantastic Pinot Noir. And I think, really, in the past when I've said Pinot Noir, kind of a varietal for me that I don't appreciate, I have appreciated the number of Pinot Noirs in the last little while, and I am coming to fall in love with this grape and really, really appreciate the great qualities and great tastes that Pinot Noir produces. It is called the heartbreak grape. It is a difficult grape. It's a thin-skinned grape, and it's susceptible to disease and stuff like that, so that's why it's called the heartbreak grape, because if the skin breaks open due to conditions, grows too fast, anything like that, Pinot Noir is a difficult grape to grow. Chardonnay is a little bit more robust and grows in different climates from cool to moderate to warm, but Pinot Noir is predominantly a cool climate grape. So as I said, the one that we had, the photograph that you've seen here, the picture, that was a $35 bottle. A lot of acidity in this, and that just enlivens the mouth. When you have a wine with a lot of acidity, what happens is your mouth waters. And so when your mouth waters, you know that you've got a high acid grape. And this one had that, but it had notes of cherry and strawberry and a little bit of note of oak. What they're trying to do at Cloudsley is much like some of the products, at least, at Tawes that they're doing down there, and they're allowing the grape from the terroir to express itself. What does that mean? That means that they are using as much natural technique as they can to produce the grape without the influence of the winemaker putting their influence onto the taste of the wine. In other words, you could purchase yeast that will make a wine taste in a certain way. You can put it in different kinds of oak barrels, whether it's American oak or French oak, and you can put them in fresh oak barrels. When you do that, lots of wood flavor is going to transfer into the wine. But what they're doing here at Cloudsley, and that they've done at Tawes now most recently with some of their productions, is that they're using a naturally captured yeast from the air. So that's the yeast that's coming from the area around the terroir. Actually, if you look at grapes, and I'll hopefully get a picture of that up here as well. If you look at grapes, there's sort of a cloudy film on it. Part of that cloudy film is going to be the natural yeast that's sitting on the grape skins themselves. So they're using this natural yeast to allow you to taste the Chardonnay or the Pinot Noir grapes as they're growing in the fields. And then they put them in often a variety of different used oak barrels. If you use French oak, the grain from French oak is smaller than it is from American oak. So that means less transference in and out of the wood in the French oak than it would be in the American oak. More transfer of flavor from the American oak and less from the French oak. And if you used barrels that have been used previously many times, the more times the barrel is used, the less influence the wood actually places upon the flavor of the wine. So I had something from Tawes, and they had used barrels that were freshly made for that vintage, and second, third, and fourth use barrels. Cloudsley is also doing that with French oak. They're using barrels that have been used several times, so it's getting conditioned by the oak, by the wood, but it is not being overwhelmed in flavor by the oak. So essentially it's allowing it to age, it's allowing to the wine to become grander and more flavorful and easier to drink because it's gone into the oak, but it has less influence from the oak flavors themselves. So Cloudsley is doing this sort of thing. So this is just a really wonderful little vineyard. I'm going to show you a new bottle. This is the one we haven't tried yet. This is a little bit more expensive. This is their Pinot Noir, and you can see that is from the 20 Mile Bench VQA in the Glen Elgin vineyard. So each vineyard is named, and as I said, we had the 20 Mile Bench one. That was all it was just 20 Mile Bench. That's name. So it wasn't a specific vineyard like this one. But they had three of those, three specifically named ones, and we're buying sight untasted. We didn't stop to taste there, so they were $50 a bottle, a little bit of a risk in a brand new winery not knowing it, and I'm telling you right now, Cloudsley is doing a bang-up job. We've had one bottle, and if that's any indication as to how great they're making their wine, we'll be going back, and we'll be buying multiple bottles of each type. So there you have it, Cloudsley Cellars, 3795 Victoria Ave, Vineland in the Niagara area, and they are doing a great job. You see the pictures of the facilities and the bottles of wine that I put up, and I want you to have a great day and enjoy your wine and consider Pinot Noir the next time you're taking a taste. Take care. Bye for now.